Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am creating a card using the Sky High Friends from My Favorite Things, and I'm basing myself on the August mood board from Butterfly Reflection ink. So first of all, I started by stamping out my image. I was planning on only using one, but you see later why I am adding more. But I was planning on only stamping this one out, doing some Noline coloring with my distress inks, so using antique linen to stamp it out. So it's the first time that I'm using the stamp set, so I have to ink it up a few times. And then I can continue with the coloring. So you already saw it in the beginning when I showed my card, but I'm using all the colors from this mood board except for the purple in my background, and then I wanted the purple to really shine in that balloon, so that's why I'm using purples and then a few neutrals for my critters. So I prefer laying down a piece of paper towel as well as my acrylic block on top of it. This way you can see the colors really well, and at the same time you have a piece of paper lying there to dab your paintbrush on really closely while you are creating. So for the coloring, I am just doing what I always do. It's something that works for me. It's by experimenting that I have discovered that this way of coloring with my distress inks really works. There are other techniques that might fit you better, but just if you want to do what I do, I add a really high amount of the paint on the edge where I want to create the most amount of shadow, and then I clean my paintbrush, dab it off onto my towel, and then I have a damp paintbrush that I use to drag out that color more towards the rest of the image, so that also gets some color. So normally when you're creating critters or smaller images, that will be enough, and you just keep adding layers and layers until you're happy with your depth created. I must admit, this balloon is quite a large image, and I had to use some more watered down inks to get this balloon colored in, and I had some trouble with creating what I wanted to see. Didn't really know where I was going, so I'm just trying things out, going over these lines of the balloon first and also blending it out a bit. But just because I was figuring out where I wanted to go, I'm doing exactly the same for each part of the balloon, because I am going to add some more inks and until I was happy. But some things works and some things don't. If you do it partially on your image and you think it's not working, in this case, for example, the lines, it didn't help that much. But if I was going to stop after a few lines, then you would notice it at the end of the coloring that there was something different between the upper lines and then the rest of the rainbow. So I just did the same thing to keep everything flowing, but in the end adding a bit of ink already on those lines didn't really help me a lot, so I could have skipped it as well. It was really trying out different ways to get more color on there without taking away of the deeper shadow that I wanted to create on the top, because there are critters lying on top of the balloon, so they create a shadow, and that's why I really wanted to have that shadow on top of my balloon. So for the rest of the balloon, I was actually using a watered down version of the Seedless preserves to, as I said, keep that shadow at the top, but also create the colors more on the bottom, of course. It's not like there is a bit of purple and then a white balloon. That was not the idea. So it was quite a bit of work coloring this image, but the others went like usual, quite quickly with the system that I have in mind how I am painting. So a bit back, I also colored in another image from my favorite things. That was from, I need to look it up, the image from the Best Adventure Bears, and I also did some coloring with my distress inks. I had a lovely comment of someone saying that they were surprised by me going over those lines with my paintbrush as well. It's something, and I'm also going to do it today. I don't want you to think that I can color with distress inks all the time. There are days that I'm really shaky, and I'm only 23 years old, but there are days that everything goes smoother and you have sturdier hands than others. Today was a day where I was quite sturdy, but then you will also see some lines. I would have liked them a bit thinner in this video. In the other video it went quite well, but there are days where I'm going to my craft room or my desk, and I just know that I cannot color with my distress inks. But of course there are people who are struggling because of the age. Of course there comes a point where your body is just going to say, "Oh, just relax and take it easy with me." I'm fortunate that I have discovered this amazing hobby earlier on. Still regretting that I didn't figure it out while I was 15 or so, but I'm really grateful for that. But if you cannot get it done with your paintbrush, that's no issue at all. There are some fine liners that you can use. Yes, a sturdier hand is also handy for that, but there is more control because that's the fine tip, and the paintbrush is a bit loose and goosey and it just goes its own way sometimes, so I get it. There are fine liners, and what I also often do with, for example, the faces of my critters is that I just mask everything off and stamp it out using my Misty, and that's also a way. Or you can stamp it once, you mask only once, because I masked multiple times then, but you can also do it once and then just darkening it even more with also a marker or anything like that. So I really hope that those things don't hold you back from trying, for example, doing something like this. You don't need to do everything with a paintbrush. I think it's also a bit of laziness from me. I don't want to go and search for a marker. So yeah, just do your thing and try things out if you like something. I'm always trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone. I think there are so many techniques, so many ways. Yeah, I'm not ready yet to say this is what I do. I like different things. I like those adorable critters as these. They are truly amazing. And then I also really love cards that are made by Laura Besson. And then there is also Katy Zielski. I mean, those two ladies can make like cards to perfection in my opinion, without having those cute critters all the time. They just make sleek, simple cards, and I must admit, simple is not necessarily quick. Sometimes it is, but I also tried a few and they take forever. I am more practiced with this, of course, so I can find my way with coloring with distress inks. But yeah, I mean, come. There are so many gorgeous ways to create cards, so try things out. What you like, what you don't like, you don't need to try. But if you think, damn, that's cute, or I like what she's doing, then just give it a go. And you can always tag that person. If I can inspire you, that's my biggest compliment that I can get, to try something new or just a design or whatever. If you have social media, and definitely Instagram, I would love to see what you create, and just tag me or put me in the comments so that I can see it, and I would love to see everything. So yeah, that was a small talk. So my image is almost completely colored in, but I'm going to put a bit of music still to cover the rest of the coloring, and then we will continue with the background. So now I'm taking the matching dies and I'm going to die cut it, and then with the background I am really focused on that mood board, and I'm going to use all those colors that fit inside of it. So for my background I'm taking the basic rectangles from my elephants and a bit of Neenah. And then I will mask off my edges, you know me. And we will just start blending this whole panel using a cloud stencil from my favorite things. And in total I am using 5 colors for this background. So I'm using Twisted Citron, but also Squeezed Lemonade. So first Squeezed Lemonade, then Twisted Citron, Cracked Pistachio, Mermaid Lagoon, And then in the end I have a darker blue, and I must check it first. I think I am using chipped sapphire, but I will show it as soon as I'm using it to blend. And so I am building my way up. I first created another card using these colors, and I just blended a whole panel just without any stenciling, which I really like. I kept it. Maybe I will use it this month to have another entry to this mood board from Butterfly Ink Reflections. But yeah, with my images colored in with distress inks and keeping it really soft this way as well, it just didn't fit with this colored in image. But it's really, I really like it. So maybe I need to color something with Copic markers, and then you also have a brighter version, and then I might choose it. Otherwise I will use it in one of the upcoming months, of course. It's laying aside of my desk, so I see it every day. So yeah, while I was die cutting this rectangular panel, there was a bit of ink on my die cutting plates, so I had a smudge on the right. I wasn't able to cover it with the image that I colored in, so I took 2 more images. Actually, this one bunny was enough to cover it, but without the cloud I thought that it was just sitting there alone on the right with that large image on the left. So I tried to counter that by adding that simple cloud as well, and this way I think it works much better. But actually the idea was just to have that one bigger image and then my sentiments and then maybe a bit of embellishments, but now I am using 3 images. The same sentiment will be used as I planned on. I will not add any sequins or anything because of my extra images. So I'm also stamping these ones out on Strathmore Bristol Smooth using my antique linen, and then I am using the same colors as the clouds behind them to color these 2 clouds in. So one will be with Cracked Pistachio and one with Mermaid Lagoon. And then the bunny, I am giving it the same color as the bunny on top of the balloon to limit myself using a lot of colors. That's not necessary. Sometimes it's really lovely to just have the same color palette all over your card. You don't have to switch between a lot of colors to make your card interesting, I think. I will put on some music for this coloring and afterwards we will start with the sentiment and then assembling this card. For the sentiment, I'm doing some heat embossing, and therefore I'm stamping it out using Versamark clear embossing ink. And I am using my favorite gold, being the classic gold from Nouveau. As with my white embossing powder from Nouveau, this is not a fine embossing powder, which is for sizes of scripts like this perfect. It melts really smoothly, which is super handy. Of course, if you have a really tiny script, really small letters, then I wouldn't recommend this embossing powder, but for these scripts it's perfect. And if you have a part of your sentiment that isn't stamped out that well, sometimes it's even so good that it smooths out even your little mistake. Like this. And then I can start assembling everything. Therefore I'm using some thin foam squares from scrapbook adhesives, and I'm just laying down everything. I will snip off the excess of that cloud, and then I just have to add this panel on top of a card base, and then this card will be finished. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video and the coloring. Maybe that you will try it also, but you know what I said about it, so try what you like. And maybe there are ways to avoid things that you are not capable of, or to avoid things that you are not comfortable with. And let me know if you made something. So yeah, this is based again on the mood board of August from Butterfly Reflection ink, which is truly adorable. They have it every month, so I am hoping that this is going to get me started on it every month again. And their colors are always gorgeous. You just have to commit to it and try to create something. So I'm gonna try it, but I'm not promising anything. But I really loved this color combination. I also adore this stamp set from my favorite things, as well as the small one that was included in the kit that they brought out. Yeah, I'm just a sucker for cute images, and they just smash it out of the park with this one. So yeah, more cards are going to follow with this stamp set. I already have another idea in mind, so just have to execute it and film and edit, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this. If you like this card and this video, give it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Just comment down below and I will get back to you about it. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time again. Bye!